Good morning, everybody. All right, well, a couple of stories that happened overnight and through the evening and whatever and this morning. The first one is out of the EU, and this is a tweet that I found. It says, "This is big. European Court of Human Rights rules that defaming the Prophet Muhammad, quote, goes beyond the permissible limits of an objective debate and could stir up prejudice and thus exceeds permissible limits of freedom of expression." So this is setting a precedent, and there's a link to the article here. This is setting a precedent that within the EU, criticizing the Prophet Muhammad, and I believe that the person who criticized him called him a pedophile, that would be illegal. Pretty crazy because it's factually true. That's right. Like if you read the Quran, I think that is actually in there. So I think the cognitive dissonance that it takes to rule that hate speech because it might be prejudicial. Well, and I could be wrong. I'm not a somebody who has read the whole Quran or anything to that effect. I've read little snippets that are relative to whatever news article that I'm reading, if they're referenced. But I'm by no means a Quran reader or anything to that effect. So any experience I have with it is minimal. I thought this was funny. This is a CTV or a City News report. Says TVO sends legal threat to mascot maker of pothead Tokearoo parody. And apparently it's, you've heard of Tokearoo, meet the man behind Tokearoo. So there's the Tokearoo. And I just thought this was like, talk about silly. I guess the guy who is in the suit actually worked for TVO and wore the Tokearoo costume. So, I mean, yeah, maybe that's not the best choice, but still, it's pretty funny. The environment minister had a whole team of people helping her craft her tweets. She had more than a dozen people helping write. Why are we paying all of these people to write tweets? Okay, so here it is. Quote from this is from CBC. Environment Minister's staff signed off on tweet praising Syria for joining the Paris Accord. Documents show controversial tweet by the Environment Minister was widely vetted. Quote, Environment Minister Catherine McKenna's personal staff and more than a dozen departmental officials pre-approved a controversial tweet last year praising the regime in Syria, a tweet that sparked outrage and was quickly deleted. So, imagine how much, if one governmental worker is paid $25 an hour, let's say, a dozen workers spent each, let's say, 20 minutes, right? So a dozen workers, that's 3 hours. That's a lot of money for just one tweet, right? That's a lot of money. Why are we paying people? If you don't have the wherewithal to use Twitter in a responsible way, then it should not be a part of your political platform, in my opinion, right? And a responsible way shouldn't necessarily include a team. Look to Donald Trump, and this is for Bernier too. I'm not so naive to say that everything Bernier does is right and everything everybody else does is wrong. That's not true. This is across the board. If you can't slide that thumb around and put a tweet out that is intelligent, coherent, and is aligned with what you think, then don't use Twitter in your campaign. Don't. Or don't even pay a service, because that is a waste of money. If you're not that deep, then we don't want to hear from a team to make you seem more deep than you are. That's the point of this. Don't fleece us. They're using our taxpayer money to pay these pencil pushers and paper pushers and whatever to come up with a tweet that they think is all right, and they end up praising Syria. Good job, Syria! Yay! Good job in invading Canada too. You want to bring another 50,000 Syrians over? Yay! So, I think that this is just another example of how off the beaten track our government is. It's more important to have Twitter tweet vetted that's going to be deleted anyway than it is to have intelligent, competent people running the place. It doesn't make any sense. Here is a leader telling people attempting to invade his country to get lost. Donald J. Trump at 11:31 on October 25th. That's yesterday. He says, quote, to those in the caravan, turn around. We are not letting people into the United States illegally. Go back to your country, and if you want, apply for citizenship like millions of others are doing. You have a pathway to citizenship. That pathway is the United States government immigration system. And it only takes a certain amount a year. And if you try to walk in, you will be stopped by the leader of the United States and the military that he is mobilizing. He signed an executive order yesterday basically saying that we're going to protect our southern border. So that's leadership. And then you've got Justin Trudeau. To those fleeing persecution, terror, war. Do you think he might try and send buses down to down to wherever this caravan is and just bust them right all up to Canada? I think if he had his druthers, he would. Surprised there's no new tweet on this tweet. The last time Donald Trump said something about immigrants or travel, it was the travel ban that prompted this tweet. It backfired on him. So I'm glad that he's not silly or using Twitter again to welcome non-citizens into Canada. But this is how you lead. Trump is how you lead. And Justin Trudeau is how you watch your country slowly descend into an Islamicist nightmare. So this was an article about the tweet, just in case you're not sure of the consequences of Justin Trudeau's tweet. And the reason that he did it was specifically to look like a big man to Trump's, when he was doing the Muslim ban, the whole world was trying to make Trump look bad. So, but we've all realized that Trump doesn't care. So anyway, that's this morning. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.